Big welcome to Odds On, a new punting podcast by Tab Touch. You can download the Tab Touch app or head to tabtouch.com.au. If you're listening and want to watch, you need to head to the Tab Touch YouTube channel for the full episodes and see our gorgeous faces. Well, not sure about that. Anyway, what are you really gambling with? For your free and confidential support, call 1-800-858 or you can visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Any odds we give today are as of the time of recording this, and I'd like to welcome to the show Skeet. How are you, Mark Reddings?
Yeah, very well. This is Christmas Eve for myself, and of course, can we get a better weekend of sport in WA? In summer, the Ashes tomorrow, the Pinnacles, the Railway on Saturday. Hallelujah, it's back.
We are on for young and old. Man, how's the crowd getting around town? You see there's a lot of Poms in town.
A lot of them wearing the sort of the sandals with the socks. You can pick them pretty comfortably. And by about 5 o'clock on Friday or Saturday, you'll be able to tell a lot of the Poms because they don't know the meaning of sunscreen. They're standing out in the sun, drinking the liquid out in the hot weather. Well, that's not going to be too bad tomorrow and Saturday, but yeah, you can pick them a mile away. But there's so many who've come to town. It's a great atmosphere, and of course, a few of those will sneak across to Ascot for the Pinnacles. Maybe not this week, but they'll be keeping an eye on the big racing here as well.
Yeah, of course, we have got the Railway Stakes this weekend, which is one of my favourites to get through. WA Guineas is also on, which I think is a dead set certainty there.
Dead set certainty.
Yeah.
You've called this very early in the piece, but that's what sort of form have you been in? I keep an eye on the WhatsApp.
Yeah. Look, indifferent. I will say, because last weekend I didn't start great, but then I had about 10 winners in a row, and not necessarily everyone I tipped on the show. So we started in a blaze of glory, but I do feel like I'm on a path, and I'll explain to you later on when we get stuck into the races. But let's just continue down the track of this first Ashes test. What have we got the odds on, in fact?
No, I've had a close look at that. So Australia at $1.72, England $2.50. Forget the draw. The draw's out of the equation. Yep. Ain't happening.
Yep.
Look, what we do know is that two debutantes, first time in 6 years. We've got a couple of debutantes in the same test match. Brendan Doggett will bowl in exchange for the injury to Josh Hazlewood. And great to see Jake Weatherall get the chance at the top of the order. So two debutantes for Australia. England tossing up whether to go with an all-out pace attack. Bashir, the spinner. Look, he's copped a lot of flack on social media and from the English about whether he's up to test match standard, but to go into a test match without a spinner in Australia, even though it's looking like it'll be a fast bowler's paradise, is fraught with danger. So, look, Ben Stokes, I'm unlike a lot of the Australian cricket fans that think this is a fait accompli. I think this will be a really tough series, and I personally think at 250, England on previous tours, they've won their first test match regularly. So I think they're a genuine chance. I might even have a little investment. I'm not going to call it a bet on Tab Touch. It's called happiness insurance. So if we do lose the test match, at least I could look into my account and see there's a little bit of upswing. So, yeah, it should be a great series. And look, the atmosphere at the Perth Stadium tomorrow will be terrific.
I think a lot hinges on who wins the toss, because if I'm winning the toss and bowling, it's going to be a bit green earlier on. You've got Jofra Archer, if you're the Poms, like mad attack, Mark Woodwright. So you've got the two spearheads coming in. Jake Weatherall, you'd be back in your crease a bit because the ball is going to be moving massively. First test, our openers have been suspect. Usman, if someone else is playing the shots, then he can play a little bit more reserved than freely. I think that could be if England get to bowl first. Equally, if our guys are bowling, if we bowl first, it's the same deal. You're nervous. It's the first day of the first test.
Stark.
It will be very, very difficult. Stark coming at you with some
bowling. Yeah, so our attack is going to be critical. Interesting you say that because Ian Chappell, you would only been a kid when he was captain, and me too, but he always said, you know what, 9 times out of 10 when you win the toss, you bat. On the 10th time, you think about bowling and you still bat, which I think theoretically is really important. Now, you can look at the pitch and the paper and photos of how green it is, but you've also got to work out come day 4, if it gets that far, what the conditions will offer. So, look, I always think if you win the toss and bat and you can go out in these conditions, score, say, 300, that would be a really, really competitive score. But you win the toss and you bowl, as we saw with Nasser Hussain going back many years ago at the Gabba, and Australia's won for about 300, you've got egg on your face. So I know what you're saying, that it's an attacking stance. It's almost a toss, as I asked Tom Moody last week. If you lose it, it's probably not the worst thing because it puts the onus on England or Australia to make that call because historically you win the toss and bat. But I agree, fast bowlers are going to be in for a pretty fun time.
Yeah, no doubt. 17 wickets on the first day last time, these two teams. So
India, last year.
India, in fact. Moving over to the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which is this weekend. So the F1s have had a break. So they've gone from Brazil up back to Las Vegas because they were in Texas before then. They're back to Las Vegas, which would be fraught with danger because if you get your head out of the game for a second skeet, you can be in all sorts over in Vegas. It's a good time.
Yeah, well, our good mate Adam Papali'i is actually going to be in Vegas this weekend as part of, not for the Grand Prix specifically, but he's going to try and have a look at the wheels go around and the crowds will be enormous. You're right, it's going to be massive, but I think from an Australian perspective, Oscar Piastri, unfortunately,
can't win it.
The wheels are falling off. They're falling off.
Right
and
now.
I think at the end of the day, if we're having a look at the market for Tab Touch for the Vegas Grand Prix, Max Verstappen's at $2.40 ahead of Lando Norris. At $10, Oscar Piastri, fourth line in the betting. Now, I'm not a motor racing expert, but it just feels like he's had his chance. Whether his team has been supportive enough, that's for others to answer. I'm not an expert in this area, but it doesn't feel like he's in contention anymore, which is a bit of a pity, but maybe it's one of those seasons, it's a learning curve for him.
Yeah, no doubt. Can he win the Las Vegas Grand Prix itself? Yes. Can he win the World Championship? No. The last couple of weeks when he's about 5 weeks ago when he stopped doing well, there was some kind of modifications to his car because he was saying regularly he hasn't got used to bits and pieces of the car. It's not operating how it was, or, he just hasn't got the feel of it. And that's pretty telling. Second part to that is recently when he's got a handle on his car, the last 2 races, he's made mistakes by being over-aggressive. And I know you have to be aggressive, but he's been over-aggressive and it's cost him. I think he can curtail that this weekend. There's no danger of him being completely out of this Grand Prix, but he can't win the world title. Lando Norris is too good and he's going to walk away with it at this stage. Max Verstappen, though, because he's not supposed to be... These cars, once you're driving a particular car, whether it's from Mercedes, McLaren in these circumstances, Red Bull have been running around for a long year, one manufacturer normally dominates. And for him to come up and still be at the top, Max Verstappen that is, it's incredible.
Freakish, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. And as I say, just the prospect of going to a Grand Prix in Vegas. We know they had a Super Bowl recently. It'd be a fun weekend, even if you're not a mad F1 person, to watch a street circuit, obviously. And it would be just... it'd be a lot of fun. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think Lando Norris is going to be difficult to dislodge. But Verstappen, as I said on Tab Touch, will start favourite on the weekend.
Yep. Moving over to the Arsenal-Tottenham North London Derby this weekend.
Yeah, huge, isn't it? And look, Arsenal, $1.40 on Tab Touch, rightfully so, are favourites. They have been ticking along pretty nicely, and I would suspect they'll be taking care of Spurs in that particular contest. The race for the Premiership is certainly heating up. Man City's found some form. Man United's improved, of course.
Yeah.
We talked about Arsenal and what they can do. Liverpool is the team that you're just wondering after that international break how they come back.
Yep.
Whether they... And look, they've gone through a lot of changes in terms of spending money, but it just feels that they're off their game. And speaking to Mark Bosnich on a show I do, it was like... He says, look, don't get too carried away with what happens in the first 10 or 11 games of the season, but after that, there's a bit of a trend. A bit like the AFL season, you can pick the teams that are going to be competitive. Sunderland is the one that's sort of been a real surprise packet. But I think in the derby, if you're having a look at that, Arsenal, and whether it's under and over 2.5 goals or whatever, but they're a team that are going to be taking care of Spurs in a huge game. You speak of rivalry, this is massive.
Oh, this is massive, absolutely. The NBA's back in town, and they still haven't worked themselves out. The good teams are winning, but there's a lot of teams on various runs where they win 4 in a row, drop 1, couple more wins. But LeBron James was the news of the week because he's back out in action for the LA Lakers. 23 seasons. Skeet. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's enormous, isn't it? And when you get to play with your son at NBA level, it means you've been going around a fair while. So LeBron, look, the Lakers have been moderate to say the least. OKC, in my eyes, have been so consistent. The reigning champions, doing everything right. And look, with the NBA, you're right. It's such a long season. Injuries, players being rotated, that all comes into play. But as we speak, I think the Thunder probably deservedly so amongst those teams that are regarded as the best in that competition.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We'll wait and see how that all plans out. But again, there'll be a trend at some stage. We'll be able to work through that with the NBA, but it's still big ticket in town. Just quickly before we get into the races, the AFL draft. West Coast Eagles have their opportunity to springboard off this with their picks. They've got some really talented young men. It still might take them some time because they don't just come in and be the best on ground every week. But this will be the start, I believe.
Yeah, I hope so. Look, there's always rivalry between Dockers and Eagles, and there are some Freo fans that hope West Coast stay down the bottom forever. But I think the competition needs the Eagles to be more competitive. I think once they get this draft, I think last night was a really good start for them. And look, none of us know how some of these players, including the number one pick, Willem Duursma, is going to be at AFL level. But he's been quoted as saying, look, Harley, once he gets established as an inside, he might play a little bit more outside there. They'll get the pieces together. And Duff Titler's going to be a player, 201 centimetres.
Yeah, Luke Jackson style.
Exactly, they're saying. And he was, I think, a basketballer going back under 16s, FIBA. So he's had a sort of similar pathway. And look, I think in essence, he's the first highly numbered draft selection the Eagles have made since Nick Nat. So drafting a ruckman early, I think, is fraught with danger, but obviously they see him more, a bit like Luke Jackson, as being not just a one-trick pony. So look, I think they've done well. Lindsay picking up in the first round last night. So there's some pieces there. Dockers have been relatively quiet, given their pick was pick 20. But, yeah, I think this is all about the Eagles to see what they can do, and hopefully they can at least put together a squad that's going to be competitive. And if they can win half a dozen games next year, I think they get a tick from most supporters who've been through a fair bit of
they have.
grief.
Yeah, they've been really horrible for years, and their supporters have stuck. A couple of years ago when Adam Simpson was he was on the nose and people weren't turning up. Last year they did, even though they won one game, man. They won one game, they all turned up still. It's going to take them a while to get those jigsaw pieces together, but you start by finishing last and getting the draft picks. And from there, you go, there's no choice but to go up. So I'm sure that will happen.
And a couple of other things to point out from the draft. One, the Gold Coast Suns, we know that they've been called the Nepo babies by others in the AFL, but they finished sixth. They've still been able to trade their way. They've got so many high draft picks. I mean, if they don't play deep into finals next year, that's on them. And the other one is, Shawnee Mac, if you can explain how the draft works with father-son, NGAs, the draft numbers swapping from club to club, you're a better man than me, because it's as confusing as hell for someone. Like, you've got to sit down and try and follow it really closely. But end of the day, look, we've seen so many good players picked up outside the top 10. I mean, Nat Fyfe is a case in point, Lachie Neale. You go through the list, there's just so many players that have had amazing careers that haven't been necessarily top 10. I'm sure you've played with a few over the journey that you go, well, you know what? Absolute bargain at the end of their career.
A lot of those guys have been rookie listed players in my experience. So we'll see how that turns out. I want to talk about BetLoop, the new racing punting addition to the Tab Touch app. It's pretty clear to see where punters can share bets and follow others like the Nighthawk. And he started in a blaze of glory, the Nighthawk, and last week not so good, but this week it's time to fight back.
So the Nighthawk, that's your alias, is it?
It's my alias.
Okay.
See how I talked about myself in the third person? What? You can say it.
The Nighthawk. Anyway, I do keep an eye on the WhatsApp last Saturday. And by the way, it was some great racing for what it's worth, both in Melbourne, Caulfield. I watched Jimmy Starr just
big one
show what a gun he is. And locally, it was a... I tell you what, there were a couple. There's the odd shorty that got rolled at the end there. Talking Code was nutted on the line, and in the last, of course, Storyville, the great ride by Willie Pike. How did you end up? Just briefly on reflection. Saturday?
I ended up way in front because I went on an extremely strong roll of winners for a
10,
while.
You said?
Yeah, I reckon I backed 12 out of 14 races in a row, like 12 out of 14. So I had a couple of losers in there.
That's never happened.
And they were terrible runners. Like I put them in black books, so I will remember these horses. But I backed. So the Hawks guys, Michael Wayne and John
Hawks, yeah, of course.
I used to back them all the time. And for whatever reason on Saturday, I hadn't backed them for ages. And I went, you know what? I'm just going with one. The first one won. The second one won. And I just stayed with them. They had 4 out of 5 winners. So that was part. And they were all around the place, like Newcastle and, weird joints. And I was just staying with them and they all won. So that was good. But this is what we're going to start off with. We will go to Cranny to start with.
Yes.
Because there's a couple of big races. I do have a theme. I have a theme for my punting this week.
Okay.
And that is stay with the ones that have let you down. Because I'm giving them one last chance. This is the one last chance podcast, okay, for horses we've backed in the past and I've said on this show. Last week I put out one of my strongest bets with a horse called Hedge, which is in race 9, and I think that's the Meteorite, Skeet.
Yeah, let me just check tomorrow. So, in fact, Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, so Saturday, Cranmer, race 9. It's at 2:05 our time, and you are keen on Hedged. Is that right?
Am I keen on it? So Hedged has had 3 starts this campaign. It ran second.
Twice.
Yep. And I had a bit of a go at that one. It ran 6th, and I had a bit of a go at that one. And it ran 2nd, and I had a bit of a go at that one. I'm going to stay with it.
Yeah, Jamie
And then
Mott.
that's it.
Barrier 3 looks pretty open on fixed at the moment.
Does.
$4.20. Zoo Sensation at $4.80. Need some luck at $6.50. Well, Arkansas Kid at $7.50. So at
Need
least
some luck's a danger, by
at
the way,
least the market says it's a pretty open race, but you're leaning, as you say, keeping the faith. One last chance, as I've been told by my wife regularly over the journey.
See?
One last chance. And you just got to hang in there. And okay, we're not putting that as a best bet, but certainly one of your better ones at Cranbourne.
Well, I'm saying that I'm giving every one of these horses
Another
a last chance. So I'm going to go backwards now that I've given you that 9. I'm going to go to Race 4 Gumdrops, okay? That's one of my best bets of the day.
Yep.
No problem about that one. And what's that price?
That's at $2.90, so it's a fixed favourite for Benny Mellum, coming out of Barrier 7.
Yep. Race 6, skipping one, Chocolats, who raced on the Melbourne Cup Carnival, and my Lord, it opened like at about $4, maybe $5, and I was like, this is it, right? I'm going to win here, and it ran terribly, and I think it was the pace of the race. But again, we're going to give it one more go. So that's another really strong bet. I'm going to go and say that's going to be a strong bet for me.
$2.90. It is the fixed favourite for Ethan Brown.
Yep. Race 7, Stolly Bolly, who's let everyone down this Spring Carnival. Can you read out its last 4 races? Stolly Bolly.
Well, it's run third, second, third. So ultra consistent, though. But that doesn't pay the wages of the owners.
Doesn't pay the school fees. I'm giving it another go. Okay, so there's the theme. Those horses are the bets at Cranbourne.
So you're not touching the Cranbourne Cup. Sabaj, of course. Sabaj, was scratched.
We tipped that last week
during the Spring Carnival. Came out last week and won convincingly. He's got barrier 15, only carrying the 54 kegs, but 310 it is the fixed favourite. So Cranbourne Cup, of course, is the big race of the day. So Sabaj, I'm not saying you would be leaning towards that, but it's hard to overlook its form, particularly its last start.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Warney's in really good form, and the one from South Australia, which is Air Assault. But if I'm gonna stay with one, I'll stay with Sabaj because it's in really good form at the moment. But they're the I'm actually thinking that Chocolats and Gumdrops, they're really good bets. They're really good bets. If we go over to Kembla Grange,
the Gong. Yeah, the Gong. Look, I'll be staggered. Have you been to the Kembla Grange racecourse?
No, I haven't.
No. you love your racing if you've been there. I think Millsy might have gone there at some stage, I've got no doubt. But the Gong, it's a huge day. I can imagine the crowds will be enormous there for the Gong, which is going to be one of the feature meetings on Saturday if you're looking around the country. And the Gong takes place at where are we? At Gosford. There's a bit of rain around as well, they're saying.
No, go to Kembla Grange.
Kembla Grange. I've gone to Kembla Grange. There we go. I'll go to Saturday, Kembla Grange. I went to Gosford instead. Where are we? Down the bottom. Here we go. The Gong. That takes place at 1:45 our time, over 1,600 metres. There is a short price favourite. Gringotts is favourite for Nash Rawiller.
Yeah, I'm going to stay with that. And if you're going to have another bet in the race too, because it's kind of like a 2-bet strategy. I'm going to go with number 3, Estadio Mastala. But Gringotts won easy the big dance or the little dance or the sideways dance or whatever it was the other week. And it's still it's carrying 1 kilo less than it did last time. So it's used to the big weights. It's carrying 61 Natural Willa. Barrier 7 gets every chance. This thing, Estadio Mastala, coming from the pie stand, barrier 19, at 650 at the moment on Tab Touch. It's a mad chance if it gets the split at the right time.
Tell you what, Adam Hieronymus will have to be, as you say, have to work some magic from that gate. It is over 1,600 metres, so perhaps, and I'm not sure the configuration of Kembla and how tight the track is, but that's going to be irrespective. You're drawing 19.
It's difficult.
In a 1,600 metre race. You've got to have some tricks.
Yep. All right, we're going to race 4. I'm going to work my way back up again, Skeeter, like we did last
This
start.
is it's a benchmark 78 handicap, the Carlton Dry 3.5.
Weeping Woman.
Weeping Woman for Nash Rawilla again. So Nash, you thinking, have a good
How many times
day.
did you upset your wife when you're in Bali and kept leaving to go to the Y bar?
Yeah, no, she's brought that up a few times, by the way.
Race 5. Now, this is another horse that let me down. Hertzville Zagreb. Last start, Zach Lloyd, nowhere. So I'm giving it another chance, okay?
Sure. Barrier 1. And look, it's over the distance, has run second in its 1 start. It's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
8 starts, has had 3 victories, a couple of seconds and 2/3. So variably, it's in the money.
Race 7, we're skipping one there, and we're going to number 3, Zealously.
Yes, another.
Which is the favourite, but I'm going to have another 2-bet strategy. I'm just going to put a smaller stake on the Black Cloud.
The Black Cloud. At a price for Jay Ford at $6.50. The favourite, as you said, Zealously at $2.15. One of the shorter prices on the day. That's the 1,000-metre sprint, the Warra.
Yeah, and we've already talked about Gringotts, so it's like the head of the market there. But race 9 is another horse that's let me down continuously. It's called Well Timed. It's gone second, 5th, second, and I reckon I've been every time. I'm not going to give up on these. This is the theme. I'm not going to give up, so don't give up on me.
Kate Bush sang a song once, Don't Give Up, and it was going back to about the late 80s. I won't go the high-pitched, but might be with Pete Gabriel. That was a song that is maybe resonating with me with your punting this weekend. Now, a lot of these Don't Give Up horses are favourites on fix. So you're showing faith, but so too are those setting the market. So you're not a lone soldier there, Shaunie.
No, I'm not. I'm like $4.20. That's
You'll
a
take
good
that.
price.
I'm happy to take $4.20.
Yeah. And the last race I'm going to go with a horse called Starman, which again has been around the mark. That's paying $7.50 currently on Tab Touch Skeet. And that's constantly around the market too. It's got a pretty good gate. It's the Get Out Stakes at Kembla Grange. I'm following in Chris Waller. I'm looking for a victory.
You're looking for a victory. So there's your tips from the day at the Gong at Kembla Grange. So you're spreading your talents far and wide and going to the East Coast there. So that's a big meeting, the Cranbourne Cup.
Yep.
But of course, I'm hoping later in the day you can fill your boots up at Ascot for our viewers and listeners as part of our Tab Touch coverage of Railway Stakes, which is, as I say, as Darren McCauley would say, the time-honoured Railway Stakes.
Time-honoured, absolutely. You know what? We're going to kick off with the first winner of the day at Ascot.
Straight away?
Yep.
Let's go.
It's the Spruker. The Spruker's winning race 1 at Ascot on Saturday. Shaun McGruddy, barrier 1, sits 1 behind. Stephen Wolfe, trained. It's an older horse now, 1,400 metres. Thanks for coming.
The Spruker. So you've, after essentially giving us a batch of favourites on fix, you've going to start Saturday.
I'm just going to start with a winner. I'm just going to start with a winner.
Well, not just a winner, $11. And look, whether it gets to single figure quotes remains to be seen. But as you said, the Spruker, that could be you. If that gets up, I tell you, the WhatsApp will blow up. Given your the feathers will, the peacock will be out.
Have I got this wrong? This market, bloody hell, Shaun.
The Spruker's $11 at the moment.
Nah, I'm going with it.
Okay.
Spruker's going to win.
Fair enough.
There we go.
Mind you, to be fair, at the moment, of course, these prices will change as we get closer to the day. Diamonds and Rubies is the favourite nominally at $5 on fix. So it looks at this stage as if it's one of those races you wouldn't be betting with a lot of confidence, but you are.
Yeah, we found the winner. Found the winner. What more do I need to do?
No, it's great. I'll remember that. I'm watching it, sitting at the cricket, and I'm watching race 1 at Ascot. And if the spruiker gets up and I'm just having a little Pinot, I'll go.
You won't. You'll be having a Jim Beam and Coke.
Well, no, maybe a shelter if I can get a shelter snuck in there.
Yeah, shelter, no problem at all. Race 2, we'll just go through this quickly. It's a 2-year-olds out. Simon Miller's got a few out there, and I'm a bit nervous about a couple of them. Blah blah blah. But the winner's Beatty. And it's $1.70, so just chuck that in the multi.
Just wins? Okay, yeah, I don't think we can argue. I mean, it's a pretty good combination, as you say. W. Pike comes out of barrier 3, and Beatty is going to be pretty tough to beat in the second.
Race 3, we got First Encounter. It's a Bob Peters horse, Zeph and Johnson Porter on it, and I'm giving this another chance because it's constantly letting me down, and it constantly comes from the back of the field, and it constantly runs a place, and it's absolutely shitting me. But this might be the day, and let's just say barrier 2, it's going to be not last, hopefully, and that's enough for me.
And you're not concerned by Twilight Tale with Clint Johnston Porter on board because, of course, we're in the same Peters colours?
Of course I am, but I'm going with the fact this horse has let me down, and I'm staying with it. So, like a good relationship, if I'm showing faith, there should be some kind of,
bit of love in return. Okay, let's go to race number 4. This is the MCA Polytrack Handicap, 1,600 metres.
Yeah, I reckon there's only a couple of horses in this. I had a look at it earlier on. So Skywalker's the last start winner at $9, and that's coming from the Pie Stand 16. I'm going to veer away from that. I'm going to say that Audio Boy at $8.50 currently on Tab Touch is a really strong bet, and I'm not going hard at these ones. I'm going on that one, and I'm also going with Westbound.
Yeah, Westbound, $4 favourite for CJP, 100 Raider. Drawn a little awkwardly in barrier 11. And what was the other? Audio Boy, as you say, at a price. Adam Durant, $8.50.
Okay, the next race we've got Barry. Here's the main. So this is another one that's let me down. Eccentric Nature is the favourite at $2.75, and the last time they ran, it was terrible. And I reckon it was terrible because it was an inside gate. This horse likes to zim down the outside. I think there's enough speed in this race, and therefore, if there is, Willie Pike, just burning past him, Skeet. Burning past him.
W. Pike for you, Eccentric Nature at $2.75. That's the Sweps handicap over 1,400 metres. So always, you sort of, when you back a Pike horse, it's always unders, isn't it? Just because of his propensity to ride winners regularly in Perth. So look, but you know what? You can't go broke, as you say, backing winners.
100%. And if you're going to look for an outsider in that, it's Noteworthy, okay? Noteworthy is the one for me at $11 in that one. Now, Cosmic Crusader, how many times has it burnt? So it's come back this campaign and it was railway favourite, and it's run third and burnt everyone. It's not going to get a start. It's in the Carbine Club.
Did it have, now I watched the replay of the race in brief, it was checked or blocked in the home straight, but I still think Cosmic Crusader had its chance to win on Saturday.
No, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you. I know, mate. I reckon 100 metres it wins, but not that distance to the 1,500 metres. And you know what? If they look back to that race, which is a few weeks ago, where Clinton Johnson Porter stayed wide and he didn't kind of cross over, and the two horses of the Peters horses were kind of against each other, but they didn't know who was leading, who was doing what. And he got run over in that one. Willie Pike got the victory on Watch Me Rock. If they had that again, he would have got into the railway and rode that better, much better, and they wouldn't be in this circumstance. I've got no doubt about it. But he is. I don't think you can back him at $1.70, Skeet. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's I guess
it's $1.80 at the moment.
Yeah, question marks, I guess, on that front. But as you say, look, on Saturday just probably wasn't in the perfect spot, but didn't seem to really go to another gear when it had the chance. But $1.80 too short for me. I've got some mates who are involved and part owners of Yonga Lass who have the services of William Pike at $5.50. Very small horse, but has got a blistering finish. But yeah, Cosmic Crusader on class should, but you've got a couple of question marks. Yeah,
I do. I think that first of all, the Johnson Porter needs to go to the front and just go. That's it. Full stop. And that's the way he can win. But Asphalt's the horse in massive form at the moment.
It's 3 in a row.
Yeah, but it's won a heap before then as well, Skeet. So it's won 6 in a row. 6 in the line, mate.
There you go. That's race 6, which is the Carbine Club Stakes. Race 7, as we start to get towards the pointy end of the meeting, it's the Glenroy Chaff AJ Scale Cup. And the favourite here at 220 is Captain Pluto.
Yeah, it's come from wide barrier. It's going to be difficult to get a slot, but it's in really good form. It did run from behind last time. So on that, I'll just say, okay, yeah, no worries. But Opportunistic is one that's an interesting run. It's a Bob Peters horse. $7. I'm not confident about this race, but Captain Pluto goes on top.
Yeah, I mean, you can leave alone. You don't have to invest every race. You can just look. Okay, maybe you do, but you can, particularly odds on, look on, as they say. But yeah, this is one. It's a bit of a tricky proposition. Pike's on the favourite, Captain Pluto, but you said with not a huge degree of confidence. The WA Guineas Group 2, 1,600 metres. There's got a bit of buzz about this one.
King of Light is $1.85. Yesterday it was $1.90. The day before it was $2 flat. It's winning this race.
Backing it off the map. Not yet, but it's heading that direction.
It's winning this race. And people can make a really good case for Rockfest, because it was an amazing run last start, Rockfest, and the Pierce boys have got this horse going brilliantly. And it's a really nice horse. It's a really nice horse.
Yep.
Willie Pike is racing. This is a $500,000 race, right? He's got barrier 4. This horse is winning. That's it.
Best of the day at Ascot for you or not?
I'm going to say best of the day at Ascot, but I'm not. There's no value.
The price isn't. We say best of the day. It should be winning.
Yeah.
Price isn't overly seductive, but you still think it's probably the horse most likely to get the result.
Most definitely.
Beautiful.
So then we go over to the time-honoured Railway Stakes.
The Railway Stakes, 1,600 metres, Swan Draft, Group 1. Look, historically, we love getting the interstate gallopers over here, and on this occasion, we're sort of a little bit skinnier at the moment on that basis. But when you've got Chris Waller coming to town, and the barrier draw is also pretty important on that basis, isn't it? When you looked at Western Empire, drawn the 1, does get back historically. I'd love to hear your thoughts on where some of these horses, given the barrier draw, whether they stick to what they do best or whether there's a change of riding tactics.
Yeah, it's really interesting with the Western Empire one that you brought up there. I think he can drop back. I mean, obviously 2 pairs back on the pegs, but if he's in a midfield position and they come around that corner, you would hope that the field breaks up and he can really sprint powerfully. Watch Me Rock is only carrying 53 kilos, and that's why Willie Pike picked him. But look, I was never going to pick Western Empire, but I'm leaning that way. And I never tip top weights in these races. Melbourne Cup, just put a line through them, and Railway Stakes, just about put a line through them. But this is a really good horse. This is a proper Group 1 horse. Western Empire, and it has been for ages. I'm going to give him I'm going to give him a strong chance. Watch Me Rock is obviously the one.
Also Penco, of course. I mentioned Chris Waller, Tim Clark, who's a fine jock, but barrier 17. Wow, again, you've got to have some either knowledge of a predetermined plan or be very flexible in your thinking during the race. Do you give this galloper a chance at a price of $9?
The beauty about being so wide is you're going to be able to get in that 3 wide line, and that's cover. Generally where the winners come from. Ideally, you won't be 17. You'll probably be in barrier 9. But I don't write him off completely. One that I'm definitely throwing in, it is Diamond Scene. Now, Diamond Scene had one start, which is about a month ago now. Yep. And it beat Comfort Me and Watch Me Rock, who is the favourite. And Diamond Scene's paying $9. Clearly, it's a stayer, but they've kept it fresh for the 1,600. That race previously, which it won, beat Watch Me Rock. Arguably, Watch Me Rock was really, it was a hard luck story, but it still won, and it's carrying a light weight, and it's going up 200 metres, which is in its favour anyway.
Yeah. And
that's a really good outsider.
Just the one win in 3 starts at the distance, but I think the track record is something here worth discussing. 16 starts, 8 victories at 2 seconds. So
I didn't know that.
That's a nice. Oh, it's a nice trend if you like you have some time for Diamond Scene.
Certainly do. And the last of the day.
So just clarifying for our audience.
Okay, here's
Railway.
I'm going to go with Western Empire. Then I'm going with Watch Me Rock, and I don't think I'll back Watch Me Rock other than chucking him to, multiples. But I'll definitely have something small on Diamond Scene because of the odds.
Sounds good. The Railway Stakes, it's a big one. And just for my benefit, because
what do you like?
No, I was just saying, I'm going to be at the cricket, so I'll be the phone will be like this. I'm sitting with a bloke who's going to be very much invested in it as well. Western Empire's Gate worries me just because of its nature of its run. Look, it sounds very, very vanilla, but when William Pike makes a choice, that just gives me a bit more confidence. So either way, it's going to be an absolute cracking race over 1,600 metres. I just hope it's a beauty. And as you say, there's probably 3 or 4 genuine chances. Super Smink is a fine horse, but barrier 15. There's probably a dozen that can genuinely have claims. But Watch Me Rock probably deservedly is the favourite for the main race, the Group 1 Railway Stakes. And let's finish off the big day at Ascot, Shawnee Mac. It is the Tab Touch Bet Loop Handicap. Exactly what we wanted to finish with.
Yeah, and will we have this winner in your Bet Loop? I would think so. I'm just looking for Willie Pike's name because I can't see it at the moment in regards to, because it's back. You always back Willie in the last.
Well, Storyville was almost like a certainty last week.
Yeah, wasn't it?
In running, you thought, well, if he can get the split, obviously he just covered no ground on the rails. And then, as it turned out, Willie Pike and paying $4.40 or thereabouts. Thanks for coming.
Certainly did. Smooth Chino's the winner here.
Smooth Chino to finish us off.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. 265, so shortish, carrying 60.5 kilos, which is a bit of pud.
Yeah, it is. It is. But its first up win was really classy. I thought it was a really classy win, 1,200 metres. That was barrier 9. It's coming from barrier 1 this time. The only problem would be if it gets held up and you're looking for some, But if you're going to, obviously everyone's doing a quaddie, so you're going to have Smooth Mover in, which is the second favourite, Simon Miller. He'll go into your quaddie. I would say Nobility's the horse that'll lead all the way, $26. Can you lead in the last bit? If you're throwing something in really wide, it's going to be Allentown for me at $19, $18.
$19. And if you follow Billy Joel, you like his music, Allentown's the omen bet. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Smooth Mover. Tim Clark gets a ride in the last. No W Pike. Punters won't know what to do.
They made it really hard. What were you doing, Willie? Jeez.
What are your best, just in brief, just recapping your best bets for Saturday, because Shawnee Mac, you're in good touch.
Okay, so I'm going race 4 Gumdrops in Cranbourne, as well as race 6 Chocolates. They're the 2 best bets there, although there's a couple other ones I've gone. Kembla Grange, where it's all happening with the gong. I have I've chucked in Hertzville Zagreb as race 5. Weeping Woman, I just think it's in really good form, so I'm going to go with that in race 4.
Yep.
I didn't discuss this, but just have a look at race 7 Barber. Just have a look at that for everybody listening. Just make up your own decision, but it's something small there. I had a few other bets, but I'll leave them out of it. And Perth, I was pretty strong on the Spruiker. The odds did knock me around a bit. I've lost a little bit of confidence.
The Spruiker race 1. I tell you what, if our listeners follow you and they get a result, I hope that they send you a message of congratulations and thanks. If at $9 or thereabouts, a very juicy way to get your day off and running.
Yeah, I'm going to go with race 5, Eccentric Nature, as my best, alongside King of Light at Perth.
Beautiful. There we go. So Ascot, just for what it's worth, on Saturday, huge day of racing. Weather should be terrific. First race just before midday. We've got 10 races, last at 20 to 6. So hopefully you can keep an eye on the cricket, have a bet on Tab Touch, and as part of Bet Loop, share some of those thoughts as you normally do, and get some other people involved in some winning results.
Yeah, there's a lot of people getting involved in Bet Loop at the moment, so you'll be able to follow whoever is in good form. Some things when you look, you go, oh yeah, I better chuck that one in too. So it's good to have a look on Bet Loop, of course. Skeet, this has been another, I was going to say great edition of the podcast. Am I going too far there?
No, but I'll just go back to the original theme of the show. It is don't give up on certain horses.
Don't give up.
And if Australia's 3 for 20 after an hour, don't give up. If you win the toss, tomorrow Shawnee Mac's captaining Australia. He's bowling. And if England's none for 100 at lunch, you can sue him. Otherwise, as we say, gamble responsibly, Shawnee Mac.
Absolutely, we certainly do. For everybody out there, what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858, or you can visit gamblinghelponline.au. Thanks for your time, mate. Appreciate it.
Love it. Giddy up.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.